Now, I've actually never really been the biggest fan of LEGO Star Wars Original Series sets, that being sets from Yoda Chronicles, The Freemaker Adventures, and Rebuild the Galaxy. However, I've had multiple people request that I do this video, and honestly, I thought it would be pretty fun. So today, I'm going to be ranking every LEGO Star Wars Original Series set. There are only 11 to get through, and before we get into it, I do have to say I'm not going to be including the Holocron Chamber, if any of you guys are wondering about that. But jumping right into it, at the number 11th spot, I have a set that seems like it's been completely lost to time, that being 75147 Star Scavenger from 2016. This was apparently one of the main ships from the Freemaker Adventures, which is a show I never watched, so I don't really know anything about this ship or the characters included in it. However, I know enough to be able to look at it and tell that it's pretty ugly. I mean, the design of this thing is simply just not appealing. It hardly even resembles a ship that looks like it would be in Star Wars. And then on top of that, the minifigures are pretty bland too. So yeah, overall this set is just kind of a stinker in my eyes. Up next at the number 10 spot, I have another Freemaker Adventures set, that being 75186 the Arrowhead from 2017. And just like the Star Scavenger, this set is simply just not very appealing to me. Now don't get me wrong, I will say that the build itself does have a bit of a more intriguing design than the Star Scavenger. However, overall it still just looks kind of tacky, and it still doesn't look like a ship that would really appear in Star Wars. However, I do have to say the minifigures in this one are definitely better than the Star Scavenger, especially with that Corey minifigure. He's pretty cool. Anyways though, up next at the number 9 spot, I have yet another Freemaker Adventures set, that being 75185 Tracker 1 from 2017. And unlike the other two, as you can see here, this one actually has a pretty cool looking design. I mean, it's definitely still kind of tacky, but it looks cooler than the other two. As you can see here, it's clearly reminiscent of some type of TIE variant, like a TIE Defender or maybe even like a TIE Hunter, which is cool. I mean, the 3 triangle shaped wings, it's just a neat design. However, one thing I don't like about it is the cockpit. I think the cockpit looks super tacky, and honestly, that does kind of distract from the wing design for me just a little bit. And then on top of that, the figures are solid too. It has what I'm pretty sure are all the main antagonist and protagonist, being Emperor Palpatine, Rowan, and the Mock Hunter droid. So yeah, overall this set is definitely not perfect. It still looks kind of tacky, but the wings make it look cooler than the other two. Up next at the number 8 spot, I have a set from Rebuild the Galaxy, that being 75414 the Force Burner Snowspeeder. This set released last year in August of 2025 for a retail price of $55, which is honestly such a shame because that retail price is the only reason I'm not putting it any higher on this list. The Snowspeeder build is absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously the colorway is kind of bizarre, but the actual design of the Snowspeeder itself is really good, and when LEGO eventually makes a new normal Snowspeeder in the future, this design is going to work perfectly. And on top of that, you also have some nice side builds, and then 3 really awesome figures, especially that Green Duros. He looks freaking awesome with his purple lightsabers. However, again, this set is literally about $20 more expensive than it should be, and because of that, I just can't put it up any higher on this list. Anyways though, moving on to the number 7 spot, I have a set that I'm pretty sure is a fan favorite among a lot of people, that being 75018 Jek 14's Stealth Starfighter from 2013. And I know this set gets a lot of love, but I've actually never really been the biggest fan of it. This is supposed to be some type of modded E-Wing, which is a cool idea. However, I think there's just too much going on. I don't like the oversized engines, and I also really don't like the look of that gun on the top and the middle. It all just simply looks kind of tacky to me. I know that's kind of a hot take, but I'm just not the biggest fan of it. However, the minifigures in this set are absolutely incredible, and they're honestly kind of carrying it. The blue Special Forces Clone Trooper looks awesome, same with the Bounty Hunter, and then of course Jek 14 is just an iconic character. So again, yeah, the minifigures are kind of carrying it a bit for me, but the ship itself I've never been the biggest fan of. Moving on to the number 6 spot, I have another Yoda Chronicles set, that being 75051 Jedi Scout Fighter from 2014. It might be a bit controversial for me to put this set over Jek 14 Starfighter. However, I simply think the build just looks a bit cleaner. Now, it's still kind of tacky, don't get me wrong, but I think it's just a little bit cleaner than Jek 14 Starfighter. And also, I like the shape of it more. It has kind of a dagger shape. It honestly reminds me of some type of ship you'd see in like the Old Republic or something, which I think is cool. And then on top of that, it too also has a really awesome minifigure lineup, especially with that Ithorian Jedi Master. That's one of the coolest alien figures LEGO has made before. And then of course you have the Stormtrooper version of Jek 14, which is also really cool. I mean, in my head, this set just does everything that Jek 14 Starfighter does, but just a little bit better. Anyways though, now making our way into the top 5, at the number 5 spot, I have yet another Freemaker Adventures set. However, this one is actually pretty fire. It's 75167 Bounty Hunter Speeder Bike Battle Pack from 2017. This set is one of the most random and unique and honestly kind of infamous battle packs ever made. A lot of people think it's really cool, and a lot of other people happen to think it kind of sucks, and I happen to be someone that thinks it's really cool. The fact we were able to get all of these unique bounty hunters in one set for only $15 was just so awesome back in 2017, especially since a lot of these characters, especially Bossk, hadn't been been made in a long time. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think LEGO needs to do more battle packs like this, as I am still one of those people that thinks that battle packs shouldn't really have named characters because they're mainly for army building, and instead of putting named characters in a battle pack, I think they should just be in cheaper sets that aren't battle packs. But this is one of the cases where they put a bunch of named characters in a battle pack, and it's actually really cool. The figures are awesome, the speeder bike's awesome, there's literally nothing not to love about this set. Up next, at the number 4 spot, I have another Rebuild the Galaxy set, that being 75393 TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup from 2024. And if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, especially since this set released, you've probably heard me diss it quite a bit. And that's because, well, I hate the TIE Fighter in this set. I think it's the worst TIE Fighter, or playscale TIE Fighter at least, that LEGO has ever made before. However, the reason I put it at the number 4 spot is because, contrary to the TIE Fighter, I freaking love the X-Wing. This might be a hot take, but I think this could be argued to be the best playscale X-Wing LEGO has made before. The shaping, especially on the nose area, is absolutely perfect. I was blown away when I built it. I was not expecting it to be this good on a playscale level. And on top of that, it's the perfect size too. I'm pretty sure it's almost perfectly minifigure scale, and it doesn't feel too small compared to other X-Wings LEGO has made. But unfortunately, I can't put this set as a whole any higher because, again, the TIE Fighter sucks. But now making our way into the top 3, at the number 3 spot, I have a set that absolutely took the community by a chokehold in summer of 2024, that being 75388 Jedi Bob Starfighter. Summer 2024, when the Rebuild the Galaxy sets were releasing, was honestly such a fun time because they were just so bizarre, and when rumors about them were going around, nobody really knew what to expect, and a lot of people didn't even think they were real. But let alone, here you see, we did end up getting a Jedi Bob Starfighter, and it's honestly really cool. I love the design of it, the colorway is awesome, I think the red and white was a great choice. It's also very reminiscent of the Anakin's custom Jedi Starfighter set from 2015, which I absolutely love, so obviously I'm gonna like this one too. And then on top of that, we of course got a new Jedi Bob minifigure, which was really crazy at the time. Anyways though, up next at the number 2 spot, I actually have another Freemaker Adventures set. However, this one is actually really cool and not super ugly like the other ones, that being 75145 Eclipse Fighter from 2016. Now still keep in mind, I never watched the show, so like the other sets, I don't know anything about this ship, but I can tell you that it looks really awesome. LEGO went absolutely crazy with the design of this thing. It's one of the most unique starfighters they've made before. The black and red looks awesome, then it's also got this cool wing functionality where they can like kind of fold open and close. And then on top of that, it also includes Dengar, which doesn't make any sense to me because I never watched the show, but hey, Dengar's Dengar. And again, the ship just looks really cool, that's why I put it at the number 2 spot, and it's also one of the only Freemaker Adventure sets that I actually got as a kid. But now finally making our way to the number 1 spot, this one is probably a no-brainer for most of you guys when you clicked on this video. It's of course 75389 the Dark Falcon from 2024. This is another Rebuild the Galaxy set, and just like Jedi Bob Starfighter, this one absolutely took the community by a chokehold, and arguably even more so than Jedi Bob Starfighter did. LEGO really went out on a limb by making this set, especially at such a high price point, because it was definitely kind of a risk because of how bizarre it is. However, I think it paid off because the general consensus of the community is that this is one of the most unique sets ever made. I mean, it's literally a black and red Millennium Falcon. It looks freaking awesome. And then on top of that, it has probably the most intriguing minifigure lineup of any LEGO Star Wars set ever made, with basically a bunch of meme figures like a white Darth Vader, a Darth Jar Jar, a Darth Rey, an evil C-3PO, figures that have kind of existed as like memes and fan fiction within the Star Wars community that the creators of the show then decided to make actual characters of, and then lo and behold, we got them in a LEGO set, and it's honestly one of the coolest things ever, especially that white Darth Vader. That's definitely one of the most iconic figs that were released in 2024. So yeah, this set is overall just a banger, figs and the build, so again, it was kind of a no-brainer to put this one at number 1. Anyways though guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know what you think about my ranking down in the comments below and what you would change. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see them on the screen right now.